But with that said, how do you think the government should balance innovation with responsible governance as well?
The prevailing opinion is definitely we need innovation. The Philippines has to do its own research on AI that we will apply locally, but balance it with the right sandboxing, the right regulation, the right ethics, so that it doesn't go beyond our control. On how those ethics, those regulations will be formed, that is a debate comprised of, so many experts, so many sectors.
Welcome to Thoughts on Tech, powered by Eastern Communications. I'm Felipe Verzosa, your host for this episode, and today we're going to be looking at the backbone of digital transformation, and that is ICT infrastructure and national connectivity. And while innovation often focuses on applications, apps, and new technologies, well, none of it works without the reliable systems underneath. So connectivity powers access to information, services, education, and opportunities across the country. And today we'll explore how national ICT systems are built, managed, and the challenges of scaling infrastructure across the Philippines, and why reliability and security are essential to a connected nation. And joining us today is Mr. Bayani Benjamin Lara. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Now, before anything else, I must say we are so fascinated with the work that you have accomplished in your career so far. Now, you've spent much of your career building and managing critical digital infrastructure, right? But tell us about your journey first. How did you find yourself in this field?
By training, actually, I'm a programmer, so I should be doing code. But I found that users of software complain a lot. So I transitioned myself from being a programmer into networks, building networks. That was actually a mistake because internet users are more demanding and
They complain more
they
also.
complain more also. But I found comfort in that work, and I've been doing it for quite some time.
Well, you have been at the forefront of developing critical digital infrastructure, especially in the Philippines, sir. But in an era of increasing cyber threats, right? We experience that a lot, daily even. What strategies have you been using to ensure that government networks remain secure and resilient?
The resiliency, more or less, that's just a budget question. You put more budget, you build 2 paths, 3 paths, you build 2, 3 data centers, you just multiply your infrastructure, and more or less that will be resilient. In terms of secure, in my years of operating network infrastructure, nothing is really secure, even if you throw a lot of budget at it. You can secure it to some extent, but you should always be ready for attacks and recovery in case, the worst situation happens.
But sir, how rapidly are cyber threats evolving through the years? How different is it now compared to 5 to 10 years ago?
5 to 10 years ago, scripts, attacks were less, resources were less. You could prepare for it or respond to it in a timely manner. Computing is quite cheap, which are the tools of attackers. Software, especially automated software, AI-enabled software, is becoming more and more prevalent, and it's getting easier for them to attack critical infrastructure.
Now, speaking of ICT infrastructure, to us lay people, it sounds very technical, right? And there are a lot of intricacies when it comes to infrastructure. But in simple terms, Sir Bani, what does ICT infrastructure actually encompass?
ICT infrastructure for me encompasses anything and everything along the path that gives Facebook on your mobile phone or gives the internet content on your mobile phone. So from your mobile phone, that will be a wireless signal to some box on the wall, and from that wall is some kind of wire going to bigger and bigger equipment that will find its way to our beach area and will go under the sea to go to some server somewhere across the world.
So how would you describe the current state of ICT infrastructure in the Philippines? Because as you mentioned, sir, these are the hidden systems that really make connectivity possible for Filipinos.
Right now, I guess my personal opinion, we're somewhere in the middle. Our internet is not blazingly fast, but it's also not, turtle pace slow. In terms of cost, I think we're also somewhere in the middle. So, due to the efforts of a lot of people throughout the years, I think we're in a good place right now. We just need to sustain it and keep on growing our internet infrastructure.
What are the gaps that are still there?
In my long stay in government, believe it or not, corruption has a direct impact on our internet infrastructure. I cannot go through the details, but it's not just, the flood control. Corruption goes into all of our infrastructure, including our internet infrastructure.
Hearing that, sir, it's actually painful as a citizen, right? Knowing that more could be done, we could have better internet services, but because of corruption, that's being hindered. In what ways is corruption stopping the growth of ICT infrastructure and making sure that a lot of Filipinos are connected?
If you look at the other countries that have fast, cheap, reliable internet, one of the game changers, there are a lot of things, but one of the physical game changers is cable, fiber. The more cable you build all throughout the place, the more resilient your internet would be. And as you know, the more supply that you have, the cost will be cheaper. To lay cable anywhere in the Philippines, you need to get permits from so many entities, and to get those permits, you have to play by certain rules, and that hinders, the growth of our internet infrastructure in the Philippines.
So bureaucracy, red tape is still a huge problem. And if we eliminate that, where do you see our connectivity heading?
Creating more opportunities for smaller internet providers, hopefully more competition, more smaller ISPs going to the very far-flung GIDA areas, and I think that would be a game changer.
As of now, that's the reality we face. But still, Sir Bani, many government services are now going online, moving online. How does ICT infrastructure support the delivery of public services and improve government efficiency as well?
Before, government information were just put on apps and websites and had the informational role, like what is this, what is that, and if it goes down, it's like, it's okay, I can call the office and ask my question. Right now, the critical government service is actually delivered online. Health, passport, LTO licenses, all of those things. And if it goes down, it's not just you asking, informational questions. It's you not getting the government service. So, us having a reliable, resilient internet service is quite critical for government to deliver its services. And yeah, going back to the comment that I had before, without reliable internet in the far-flung areas, we enjoy that government service in the urban areas, pero parang kawawa, or kawawa yung mga nasa probinsya.
As you mentioned, sir, it's very, very critical because the Philippines is also an archipelago. We have over 7,000 islands, and that's why connectivity is very, very important. But going back to what you mentioned on service disruptions, what are some of the infrastructure realities that are happening behind the scenes that many people may not be aware of? Let's say when internet is slow or they can't access these government apps. What is happening?
More or less, it's either a cut cable or a down server that can't give back the website that you want to access. So with a cut cable, more cables. We lay more cables. If one is cut, the network will intelligently reroute to another path. So we need those things. If it's a down server, then we need more servers. So we need more data centers, not just in Manila, not just in Metro Cebu, hopefully in key areas of the Philippines that can serve content effectively.
Pero parang common problem din yan, sir. I mean, a lot of Filipinos are still reporting experiencing problems with accessing services, whether it's through those apps, diba, where you can file taxes, access your IDs. Um, how common is it, and what is the government doing to address that recurring problem?
Depending on the definition of common, but I think it was in the news that recently the eGov app went down due to capacity issues. Now, what is the government doing about it? In the past, the government already laid a lot of infrastructure, fiber, data centers. It's maintaining it right now, and the government has a lot of programs to actually grow that infrastructure. Um, it's in the news right now. The big initiative of the Americans to build something in the Clark area. So hopefully that will produce more data centers and more connectivity that will, help in the uptime of government services.
But from your perspective, Sir Bani, what do you think it takes to actually design and maintain digital infrastructure at a nationwide scale?
We need the human resource. We need the talent. If you go to other countries, a large chunk of the talent there are actually Filipino engineers running their networks. You call Google Singapore, a Filipino will help you with the tech support. So we need we need a lot of those talent to come back and help us build our infrastructure, which again boils down to the reason why they left. We need to solve the reason why they're leaving the country.
I think that's one common problem also, that we have a lot of Filipinos, talented Filipinos, bringing their talents overseas, right? And for greener pastures na rin, diba, sir? Maybe higher pay. How can we attract our local talents to come back here and serve Filipinos?
For me, we need to, well, it's difficult to solve, but we need to solve that corruption issue.
It still goes back to corruption.
For me, yes.
And you think if we eradicate that, more Filipinos will want to come
I
home? And
think so. In my years in
I mean, you've been working in government for
Yeah.
many years now, right? What has motivated you to stay and serve the public?
infrastructure building, the Philippines needs more infrastructure. In my years in government, the Philippines is not poor. We have a lot of funds to build good infrastructure, not just internet infrastructure, health infrastructure, road networks, and all of those things. We just need to fix it and give equitable access, and hopefully the Filipinos abroad will, find living here more sustainable.
So even if you encounter challenges like that, right? Corruption, hurdles to achieving true connectivity, sir, hindi naman kayo nadidishearten with the realities that, you're facing, especially in...
Government, you need to be persistent, you need to be patient, and I guess to stay long, to give good service, you really need the passion. It mustn't just be a day job 8 to 5. You need to believe in what you're doing.
Right. Now, with infrastructure reliability so important when it comes to governance and delivering services effectively, there's still that problem of cyber threats, right, sir? As you mentioned earlier, they've gotten more sophisticated already. How should governments and institutions think about protecting critical infrastructure? What are we doing to safeguard our infrastructure?
The government is doing a lot right now, spending a lot to have a cybersecurity center. And they're actually working on a law for us to have our own equivalent of NSA in the US. And if that law passes, we'll have a brand new office, hopefully with more funding to protect our cyber infrastructure. But then again, the attacks are getting, more eloquent, more sophisticated. I think we need to prepare to, like, an emergency site, a disaster site to rebuild in case the attackers are able to bring down our cyber infrastructure.
Speaking of disasters, Urbani, the Philippines is also very vulnerable to natural disasters, right? We're already approaching the rainy season here in the Philippines. But how do you build networks that remain operational during emergencies and crises?
I think for me, that's a budget issue. Just if you have your nerve center in Manila, and if Manila goes down, then you're down. Just build a site on another area, another geographically remote area from Manila. Have enough resources there to jumpstart your infrastructure in case things go bad in your nerve center.
Are we doing that already? Is that being done?
We actually visited one science facility, one critical science facility wherein we rely a lot on them during typhoons. And they built a second nerve center south of Manila. So in case electricity and anything goes down in Manila, they're able to respond in a timely manner on that second site.
And that's very important, no? Kasi there's also that mindset of being very Manila-centric. So when disasters happen, it's good that we're prepared and kumbaga may backup, diba, sir? All right, but on a more personal note, we know that you received a lot of recognitions relatively early in your career. It's very, very impressive and inspiring. But I wanted to ask you, sir, what advice would you give young professionals who would also like to get into this industry, into this field?
For the younger ones, try to serve the government, try to stay in government. The financial perks are not that high, but the fulfillment in, helping in nation building, at least for me, that's fulfilling.
For young professionals, it's still that fulfillment.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Hopefully.
Nothing beats fulfillment. I think it applies with any aspect of kasi.
Sana they believe that.
Do you believe that?
I think so.
Well, you've been working in government for a long, long time now. Okay, but I wanted to get your thoughts also, Sir Bani, on artificial intelligence because it is rapidly evolving, right? Especially worldwide in different types of industries. How do you see AI affecting national infrastructure?
In terms of national infrastructure, maybe specifically internet infrastructure where I'm from, usually the conversations towards AI would be automated setup, the lesser humans configuring the network. But the physical part of that, laying cables, setting up Wi-Fi and all of those things, those are things that we do with our hands. I don't think AI will augment or will replace that anytime soon unless we perfect, robot technology. But if you do your work with your hands, more or less you're good. If you do your work with your brain, then embrace AI.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned, sir, that people must embrace AI because right now there's a lot of fear, right? There's a lot of fear that AI could be taking over their jobs, displacing them. But with that said, how do you think the government should balance innovation with responsible governance as well?
I had a conversation with my colleague about this, and the prevailing opinion is definitely we need innovation. The Philippines has to do its own research on AI that we will apply locally, but balance it with the right sandboxing, the right regulation, the right ethics, so that it doesn't go beyond our control. On how those ethics, those regulations will be formed, that is a debate comprised of, so many experts, so many sectors. I guess on a nationwide scale, the prevailing opinion is job displacement. So I'm thinking, where will all those manpower, labor go when AI takes their job? But in my conversations, they said the Philippines is quite slow in its adoption, in its AI adoption. So for me, would that be a good thing? The people losing their jobs to AI at least will be staggered, delayed, rather than super progressive countries wherein they're quick in attaching it, and like India. So Philippines being slow in adapting things, maybe that's a good thing for AI in terms of jobs for other people.
Yeah, but it's a tough balancing act, diba, sir? Kasi at the same time, you want to protect the jobs of people, but you also want them to keep up, right? Keep pace with changing technologies and to make sure that we can keep up with other countries and nations as well. Because in the end, baka naman tayo yung mahuli, diba? Okay, but now going back to digital transformation, it's also rapidly accelerating, as we mentioned. How must the country's ICT infrastructure evolve in order for us to keep pace?
Not just with AI, but ICT in general. I think we need to solve our electricity problems. More and more digitized services, are being converted. That translates to servers. Servers translates to data centers, and data centers are power hungry. 3 weeks ago, we had the rotating brownout. So obviously, there's still, that power issue. And if entities in the Philippines are going to push for more data centers, hence more servers, more cloud to keep up with the pace of digitalization, then eventually we might hit a wall on that limit on that electricity problem. So we need to solve that.
Crucial rin, sir, yung whole of government approach, right? You need the DOST, you need the DOE, even DOLE, working closely together to make sure that this is well.
You need the community where you will build that future power facility.
The local government.
Is it nuclear? Is it renewable? Is it coal? You need to convince
The
whoever
local
is there
community
that we're gonna build a power plant there. And
So may mga hesitation pa rin, sir. That's also one problem that you're
yeah,
facing.
at some point, debatable on the power experts, but some power production facilities usually they degrade the environment. So
All right. And with that said, Sir Bani, what advice would you give to engineers and even policymakers who are working on building and improving the country's digital infrastructure today?
my advice to them is persistence, pushing policy, especially the progressive policies. It's quite difficult. You need to hurdle a lot of vested interest, and you need to fight it out. Congress, Senate, all those lobbying. But in my years in government, I've seen, critical policies pushed forward wherein 2 to 3 people just persevered to push it. And I was surprised they were able to convert it into useful laws on infrastructure building. So I was like, kaya pala. Kung 1, 2, 3 people just pushing the envelope, they were able to do it successfully.
As long as someone is out there championing this cause, that's enough to make change. Right. Well, digital infrastructure may be unseen, but it is what keeps a modern nation running, from public services and education to community and daily connectivity. So, Sir Bani, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Thoughts on Tech, for sharing all your insights on building and managing systems that make nationwide digital connectivity possible, along, of course, with the challenges of reliability, security, and scale. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Right, and to everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us here on Thoughts on Tech. Do stay informed and stay connected, and we'll see you on the next one. I wanted to talk more about Project Maaasahan.
This initiative is basically very much aligned with our mission, vision, and purpose of bringing back the human connection in everything that we do. Imagine the impact of providing good quality internet to several schools, not just one, but 10 public schools. So imagine the impact to students, to the teachers, when you open up them to the outside world.